What's up, folks? Welcome back to the channel. Boozer here. Thanks for stopping by. In today's video, we are doing a showcase takeover for Gavin here, level 77. I have been talking to Gavin for about 3 months now, ever since he first reached out to me with his application on my Discord. So if you guys are interested in these kind of account review, account takeover style evaluations, I guess, you guys can definitely hop on my Discord. Make sure you guys apply through the proper application channels. I try to do one of these free assessments or reviews or takeovers or whatever the account needs every month. And I usually pick accounts that are, generally good for content that can help other people. The account progression doesn't really matter. It could be newer, mid-game, late-game account, and so forth. But like I said, I try to do one per month. If you guys need immediate help, I do charge a rate per hour. And make sure you guys DM me through Discord, and then we can talk a little bit further about that. But yeah, so here we have Gavin here. I'll show you guys our first little communication here. And for Gavin, he is a 50-50 mix kind of player. He plays on PC and mobile. He does use the Hell Hades optimizer. He's a very active player. He plays 8 hours a day. The big thing about him is that after his first month of playing the game, he spent over $11,000 in the game. All right. So this guy is, not your typical, level 77 free to play player. He's a big spender in this game. He's looking for some improvements in a couple areas in the game. This was back in late October. Now, Gavin reached out to me after the new year and said that he has reached Marius after 150 days on his account, which is actually really, really impressive. So we have the Marius completion here, and then he's shown me the proof of his 150 days. So currently his account's about 177 days, I believe. He hasn't gotten SIL yet. So we're going to be looking at his account and what it actually has, for spending this level of money. So he said he spent $11,000 in the first month, but now the total is up to about $25,000 or $30,000. And he's been playing the game, like I said, for less than 6 months. He doesn't have Seal of the Drakes yet, but he has Marius completed and done. He's still working on the Vermont 2 missions, a little bit, a couple hiccup missions here for sure. Big time gates, especially with the Gomlock at the very end. So it's going to take him a little bit of time to finish that. But let's jump into this account and see what he's packing. All right, first things first, we noticed the massive energy cap here. So he's, like I said, big spender. He's going to be capping his energy pretty often. And he's using all his resources. Usually big spenders will have a lot of excess stuff in his inbox. But for him, he doesn't really have anything. So that means he's been very active using up the resources. 5,000 gems going on right now. In terms of Great Haul, I mean, look at this win rate total here. This is the, we're about a couple hours away from arena reset. So he's definitely super active in his arena farming, which is really good. This is going to take a long time for even a very active player to finish. It's going to be, between 1.5 years or 2 years. And that's being super, super active. And I know some people that have been playing this game for many, many years and have not finished the Great Hall yet. In terms of the area bonuses for Library, he's focusing on Hydra, which is very fair. It's already maxed out Ignore defense and crit damage. Speed next, awesome. That's perfect. That's exactly what you want to do. Silver is definitely a little bit low here, but shouldn't be too much of an issue with that much energy. No shards here, probably just did a big pull session. Let's see here. No fusion saved up. I mean, for a player like at this level of spending, fusion should not be an issue. If they want it, they're just going to pay for the resources to complete it. So it's not a big issue there. If he's completed the Marius missions, we know that he's capable of doing all dungeon 10s level difficulty as well as brutal Hydra. So again, not too concerned about that at all. He's got 3 keys going on. Let's have a quick look at what kind of teams he's running with. Yeah, so he's running Toshiro plus Mikage. Very, very impressive duo for damage, and obviously can run Nightmare. Let's check out his box, what kind of champions he's working with. And yeah, my God, like he's got a ton. I mean, he's got, he's got some mythicals here, but they're also +1 and +2. So you guys can imagine how much money, how much primals, each one of these costs. So each mythical, cost between 150, 200 primals. You never know, right? I would say 150 primals. And yeah, he's got multiple of them. So definitely a lot of money spent on these primal shards. Looks like the bulk of the money is probably spent on the primal shards. He does have big soulstone blessings on these as well. 6 stars across many of them. 6, 6, 6, 6. So obviously this guy's been spending a ton of money on soul stones as well. I mean, honestly, that's kind of where most people's, if you're a Kraken, most people are going to be spending money on the primal shards and the soul stones. Like those are the biggest power ups right now in this game. Let's see his regular stuff. Like even his regular stuff, he doesn't have too many empowered. So he has not been focusing too much on like just generic void shards or regular shards. Obviously, he has, you know, some hits with the voids. I mean, yeah, he got lots of stuff. He's got lots of stuff. He's got 2 Necrets here. Sulfurion, Odin could have been a win. Maybe not. Odin most likely was a pull because I don't think he was playing at the time the Asgardian event was open. So most likely a pull here. I mean, you got Fighty, probably won the Queen. Incenza here is really good. Eman, Acrizia, Marius completed. Awesome. Like I said, Marius, day 150 on this account, guys. That's how active he was playing. Some of these things can't be really done easily. Obviously, for Marius, a lot of it's time gated. If you have money to throw at the game with resources and stuff, you can definitely finish some things easier. For example, like if you're doing missions where it's energy gated, you know, like for example, farming 4 mythical, you know, chests. You just throw energy into the dungeon until you get the 4 mythical chests. So for a big spender, it doesn't really matter. It's not going to gate them that long, of course. He's got Senna here, is really good for Chimera and all that. Second Acrizia. What else he's got? He's got the cat. That's really nice. Georgids here. But yeah, we're talking mythicals here, right? So let's see. We got 2 +2 of Mikage here. Good accuracy. He's got the 5-star blessing on her. He's got 285 speed, 7-piece protection. So I guess he's still waiting for the 9-piece. Brimstone, Eagle Eye. So not too sure. Maybe a build for Chimera or Hydra. Actually, it's a Hydra build for sure because he does have Toshiro, so he's going to be using Toshiro with Mikage, which makes sense. Commodus here, huge arena champion for Live Arena, great champion there. One of the best. What's he got? No pinpoint gear, but he's got the 1-turn stone skin on him. Good accuracy, good speed. So for an account like this, I would fully expect him to have some pretty decent builds. But obviously, when you see the amount of champions and obviously the blessings on all of them, you kind of expect, you know, much stronger, right? But keep in mind that his account is less than 6 months old. He's only level 77, so it's going to take him quite a bit of time to accumulate a lot of things. One thing being glyphs, one thing being silver, one thing being just, you know, gear from Centranos and all that, right? So you need like the Merciless gear from Centranos, as well as just farming Hydra. Like Hydra's been out for I don't know how long, like 1.5 to 2 years now. So people have been farming stone skin and protection gear for, you know, 1.5 or 2 years. So he definitely has not been. So he's going to be a little bit behind in that area. But we can kind of have a look here at what his gear actually looks like for a 6-month-old Kraken. So he's got a 4-piece. Yeah, on Commodus, he's got no glyphs here, actually. Definitely can improve with glyphs, but I would assume that he's very low on glyphs. And he's got the right stats. Polymorph. Polymorph is probably okay. And then accuracy here. I don't know if you would want to go down the offense tree. Maybe it's different with Commodus, I guess, just so you can do some damage. But yeah, Eagle Eye makes a lot of sense here for Commodus. Looks good. Nai's one of the best, you know, one of the best support champions. Also can be a damage dealer for Live Arena. I would love to have this guy. Commodus too as well. So he's got some of the best mythical champions here for Live Arena. Nai's the Shadow Thief. What does he have? What is he packing right now? He's packing full crit rate with crit damage. Pretty low accuracy for a 5-star blessing, 271 speed. Let's see, he's got the Wand of Submission, so he's got some relics going on here. Fully booked, of course, with the Polymorph Blessing. Not too sure what this is. I mean, with the Mastery setup, it looks like a Helm Smasher build. So he's built out to be a damage dealer. He is crit capped as well. His build's not going to do a lot of damage. That's the thing. So is it because his gear is lacking that he doesn't have like a full ignore defense set on Nice? I'm not too sure here. But like I said, he recognizes the stats that he needs. Good speed, full crit cap, crit damage. But, you know, is this build the best he has in terms of dealing a real damage build? I don't know if his Form 2 is going to really do too much here. Pretty low accuracy, is not going to be landing the provokes or stuns. But I probably don't want to build him out with too much accuracy anyways. So you just build him out with full damage. But I would say this gear set's a bit lacking. Ashnar, this guy's a little bit underwhelming right now. He's one of the worst mythicals. So don't expect him to have an insane build. Also, a little tidbit here that I saw on Twitter, I believe, that they are planning to buff Ashnar next month. So if you guys have Ashnar as your mythical, don't quit the game, etc., etc. He will get reworked or rebalanced next month. They mentioned this in a Twitter post, so it's not, it's not secret news or anything like that, but I don't think a lot of people know that. Up next, we have Toshiro. I saw Toshiro in his Hydra team, so very good. Obviously good choice for Hydra. Toshiro deals tons and tons of damage. Let's check out his build here. Good speed, crit cap, low crit damage, especially with the 6-star blessing here. But you know what? Just based on his gear, this is very fine. He's working towards it. It's just gonna take a while, right? He's got the instinct set for some ignore defense. 20% ignore defense here with the good accuracy as well. Cat Gaze, very nice. Fully booked with the Crushing Ren, 6-star Crushing Ren, and War Master. Very, very nice. Would Helm Smasher be better? I'm not too sure. Would it be better there? But yeah, he's got the Cat's Gaze as well. Very, very nice. Toshiro. And then we have Gizmat, which is, again, one of the best, live arena champions as well. This guy's an absolute menace. He does have the Savage gear on him. Again, crit capped, low crit damage here. This could be a gear issue, good accuracy. I mean, good speed, right? If you want to do really well in live arena, you need to be pretty quick. Incinerate is correct. And you got Helm Smasher here. Not too sure if you build Gizmat, full accuracy or just full offense. I think his HP burn is doesn't require accuracy. Let's see, his HP burn, it places this effect cannot be resisted if the champion's crit rate is 100%. So I'm not too sure if the super high accuracy is really needed on him, because you're kind of focusing in on his HP burn, unless you're looking at the debuffs for him. Yeah, like I wouldn't be the best at evaluating like these mythical builds. Obviously, like I know what kind of each of them do, but I never actually play tested all these mythicals. So obviously there might be some nuances that I'm missing with a bunch of these mythicals here. I'm just raising the questions here. Does he need this high accuracy? Or would it be better just to focus on the boosted damage here? I noticed a lot of the gear does not have any glyphs. Yeah, like I said in the past, a couple minutes here, for account of this age, it's going to be this is going to be one of the biggest bottlenecks. Faction wars, where he's not able to farm all the glyphs needed to boost up all his champions, especially when he has so much, right? Apheus here, or Aphidus, sorry, Relentless gear. What is he running him in? Arena? Probably not Arena, maybe for Hydra, not too sure. Yeah, not too sure. Not too sure this build. He is crit cap with a little bit of crit damage, good accuracy. Androck can be really strong for a lot of areas, PvE as well. This guy looks like he's going to be maybe PvE. He's got 9-piece protection set on. He's not crit capped or anything like that, so he could be used for like Hydra. Can be pretty good there, since his second form does bring the AoE block buffs here, so it can be quite useful for Hydra teams. Up next, we have Garrel. Garrel's not going to be one of his main used champions here. She is missing some gear, so not used here. +1 5-star mythical not being used. Pretty crazy. And then we got the 6-star Galathier. Very nice champion here. A little bit on the slow side, I guess. Good resistance. In 8-piece stone skin here, probably going for the extra resistance. Yeah, extra resistance and then 1-piece protection resistance. I mean, does it make sense to make him faster and drop a little bit of resistance maybe? Or maybe the issue is glyphs or proper ascensions. Notice that the top side is not fully ascended. No speed here on the boots. That's a little bit unfortunate. How many rolls on this guy? 0 attempts. So I mean, like, you could kind of re-gear him a little, gear him up a little bit better with the glyphs and the ascensions to make him a little bit faster. Small glyph here, small glyph here. Yeah, so a little bit of a weaker banner, I guess. You could maybe go with the 6-piece. Can you maybe, sorry, 6-star banner? Pick up the extra resistance and then get some bigger speed rolls maybe. This is not a particularly super strong banner, so maybe you can go for a different, slightly different build. Let's check out his Galathir if we can improve on it. Just quickly running over some of the gear options for his Galathir here. I did go with the 6-piece stone skin build. I went as fast as possible. So right now his Galathir is sitting at 292 speed. So he can gain potentially up to maybe 40 speed more, but he's going to be dropping about 50 to 75 resistance. And a little bit of HP, so you can still hover around 75, 80k HP. For extra 40 speed, I don't know, maybe 40 speed is more important than extra 75 resistance here on this Galathir. But the problem is a lot of the best gear is spread around a couple of the strongest champions on his account. So obviously the Commodus is very important. So it's tough. It's tough because now you got to share your gear amongst the rest of your best champions. It won't be easy to make him as good as he could be. So at some point you kind of have to commit to your Galathir and basically say, okay, this guy's going to be, you know, my best, basically my best dressed champion, right? You could definitely improve his build a little bit, like make him faster, but honestly, I think his build is probably pretty serviceable right now, 292 speed with some, you know, pretty good resistance. Yeah, I mean, I would probably think about dumping this banner for a better banner, and then you probably keep most of your stats. So if you look through, for example, something like this, okay, so it looks like you don't really have too much to work with here. Yeah, I guess you don't have too much to work with in terms of your banner. So this is a gear issue, right? Like for example, like if you just trade for this generic banner, you lose 48 resistance, but then you just ascend this and then you basically gain most of it back. You got a bigger speed roll. You can glyph this up bigger. You're gaining a good amount of defense here in exchange for very small amounts of HP. So like this 6-star banner, sorry, my head's kind of in the way. But the 6-star banner is seemingly a lot better than the 5-star stone skin banner with, you know, the 8-piece bonus attached to it. So just something to consider, a little bit of gearing options there. Obviously, you gotta rely on glyphs and all that stuff as well. But yeah, it looks pretty okay. Looks fine. I mean, 6-star blessed Galathir, very nice. We do have a 6-star Sigmund as well. This guy should be able to crank big damage, 7.3k attack, 275 crit damage. I mean, yeah, it's a good nuker build, right? He's got 6-piece Merciless with the Slayer piece and then 2-piece Cruel. Honestly, this is his best nuking build. Like, yeah, this is his best nuking build. He's got the Helm Smasher at the end. He's got, okay, this is pretty good. Gore Crescent on him, perfect. You know, this is the perfect relic for Sigmund. Cracking Roots to break the Stone Skin characters. I mean, yeah, this is his best damage dealing champion for sure. Let's check out the gear here real quick. And definitely, you know, still go for some glyphs, like, you know, get some speed glyphs here. Yeah, speed there, everything. This is a friggin' nice boot. Quad crit rate with the max attack percentage roll on flat speed. It's really nice. What's his banner? HP banner, so you can improve here as well. Do we have Merciless Ascension as well? Do we have other Merciless pieces here? Can he run the Merciless banner? He can't. Does he have ores? That's the other thing here, right? Does he have ores? He does have an ore. I'm not saying that you should use it, but maybe think about it. You know, since Siegfried here is going to be probably your best damage dealer or one of your best damage dealers, you know, maybe just commit a little bit more to his gear. But honestly, you have so many options here. Nell, I mean, Nell's a fine champion, but she's not going to be in your best gear here. Good accuracy. She's crit cap, can deal a little bit of damage here as well. Got your Cat's Gaze, 5-star blessing. Crixia, 5-star blessing here, running the 6-piece stone skin. 253 is pretty slow with pretty low accuracy. Does she have an accuracy boost? Increase this champion's accuracy by 1 for every 2 resistance they have. So you cut that in half, so it's 140. So she's packing about 550 accuracy. 550 accuracy with the eagle eye. 6 piece. I mean, you know, by the time we get to Crixia, how many of his champions have stone skin plus speed plus accuracy on them? She's probably not going to get like super crazy gear, but definitely would be worth considering. But I think obviously Galathier gets the best gear, fastest stone skin, highest resistance, and then Crixia can definitely use the second fastest stone skin. But you know, you have Nails, you have Commodus here, like even Gizmat. You have lots of these champions. It's really hard to prioritize, actually, like especially if you're really interested and trying to do well in live arena. And that's one of the things that he was really looking for, some critique on how to improve his arena. A lot of times the problem with the dealing with Crixia is that she basically jumps in ahead of my lockout champions. She's so fast, she locks my lockout champions out. Or she is slower, she, you know, gets, I guess, locked out. And then she comes back in with the transform and then the reset. So maybe the way you use this Crixia, because she's a little bit slower, is that if you bring her in against lockout, she gets locked out in her base form, transforms into the reset form, and then resets your whole team. I could see that being the case. In this case, her speed is still not fast enough because she's slower than some of your damage dealers. Like, for example, your Siegfried is basically the same speed. Your Nias is faster, your Commodus is faster, so she's not really utilizing the reset ability that well if your team was locked out, right? So I'm not too sure how you would use her. She's too slow to be the main lockout champion, so you either have to make her faster so that she can use her strip and lockout in her base form, or you make her slightly faster, but keep kind of the similar build and then transform into her secondary form so that she can reset your team so that they can do stuff. So I would say, you know, give her an extra 25 speed, so she can go ahead of some of your damage dealers, for example, and then she can reset them. Maybe that would work. Otherwise, you want to invest, you know, obviously high speed, high accuracy stone skin in her. Maybe you go down to a single turn stone skin and make her as fast as possible. So just an example here, I just ran Crixia with the 4-piece stone skin, make her as fast as possible. And then she can run 344 speed, but obviously we have to boost up her accuracy so that she can actually lock people out. Or you can build her with a mix of resistance and accuracy. She does have a passive here that converts 2 resistance to 1 accuracy. So you basically have her resistance and then just add it as accuracy. So in this case, for example, let's take the one with more HP. So like this kind of build, for example, it does take gear from Galathier, Commodus. So, you know, we see the issue here, right? His best gear is on, you know, champions he probably uses more frequently, right? But he does have capable builds here, 320 speed with 380 accuracy plus 200. So just shy of 600 accuracy on a Crixia. You know, I mean, it's not insane, but it definitely works, right? At least for 320 speed. She can be, if she's the sole lockout champion in that fight, she probably gets a turn since she has stone skin, and then she probably locks out the team, right? But it's tough when she's using basically like your second or third set of gear behind some better options, I guess. So just a little bit of an exercise here. We did basically maxed out her Arbiter. This kind of gives you a rough idea of where his gear is, and you know, in terms of how good it is, or how fast it is. So we put it on his Arbiter. We gave him the best glyphs possible and the absolute fastest gear on his account with the biggest glyphs. It's going to give him a 395 Arbiter. Now for a level 77, that's really strong, right? Like if you hop into his the gear profile here, you got a quad roll, triple roll, you got triple roll in speed. This quad roll in protection is really nice. And then you have a double roll glove, and then a quad roll in speed. I mean, it is a 5-star, but still, it's very nice. Sorry, my mistake. Is actually a 6-star, so it's really nice. 26 points here. And then his banner is a double speed with pinpoint. So it can be improved, right? But 395 on his arbiter, not too shabby. Honestly, I think in terms of gearing out, I think he's just short gear. So like I said, he's only a 6-month-old account. He needs to, basically be farming that Hydra for another year, just to catch up to some of these players that have, much better, geared rolls on their gear, right? Of course. So like, for example, you have this Commodus here with the triple roll speed. He has no glyphs on it, right? So he's going to be playing catch up for a little while, and you can't really speed this up, right? You can't buy stone skin gear, you can't buy protection gear for your Hydra teams and all that. You can't buy glyphs. You can't buy absurd amount of glyphs. You can't buy. So you got the champions, you got the soul stones, you just need the gear, and a lot of the gear is going to come with time, and that's about it. Merciless gear, stone skin gear, it's going to come with time. You're on the right track, man. You got the right builds. For the most part, you've got good priorities, speed, crit rate, crit damage, accuracy on the champions that need it. I think my recommendation is, you're going to prioritize Commodus for live arena, Nice, Siegfried, Galathier. So those 4 are probably get your best gear, and then you probably have this guy as number 5, and then this guy is number 6. You prioritize those 6 champions, and then you probably want to have Odin somewhere here with some gear as well. So Odin looks like 326 with good accuracy. No pinpoint set, might get in trouble, but that's probably the best you can do at this point, I think. Necrit's not even being used. +1 Necrit not even being used. Fighty here, I mean, this build doesn't really seem like it's going to be doing too much. Chrysia's, I mean, doing okay. Obviously the big blessing really helps. Otherwise, she's going to be under 200 crit damage and then under accuracy. That's Freya using instinct. I mean, this is kind of where, like, having gear from forge passes and stuff is really going to help. Marius, so let's see what he's working with here. Savage plus 4-piece stone skin. He's slow, okay accuracy, okay crit damage, 5.3k defense, 4-star blessed already. So he already has a higher blessing than I do for my Marius. I've been sitting on my Marius for a while, but yeah, so he basically stuck using Savage gear, right? So this is another thing that he won't have a lot of, and it's going to be lethal gear. So lethal is a direct upgrade from Savage, and it works well with nukers that run with stone skin, but he doesn't have it here, right? So he has to run Savage. This is an incredible, this is like a perfect weapon. It's like a perfect weapon, like low rolls on the speed, like, but I mean, you got max crit rate, max crit damage. Yeah, this is like nuts, right? Very good helm, 5-star helm, but basically perfect stats for Marius. Triple crit rate here, defense percentage. Would have loved speed, of course. Good-ish glove. I mean, you're probably looking for a crit rate here to help out the rest of your build. This one not built up, but I mean, you got the quad crit rate there. Speed, not the best boot, but probably just works. Pinpoint banner, no glyphs. So yeah, glyphs again, and then proper ascensions here. Like, this is going to come down to energy, so you might want to invest some energy into Shogun's Grove so you can get some of these amulets with proper crit damage. Those are some easy damage points for you. And again, glyphs, right? Glyphs. Marius, I don't know. Like, you have tons of mythicals and stuff. Marius might not be as important to you, but for me, Marius is like super important. Harima, look, he's got Harima here. Harima just not doing anything. Not doing anything. Rotos, what's his Rotos packing? Is he even using Rotos? Probably not. It's not crit cap, not anything. So, I mean, it looks to me like he's focusing on the right champions. But he doesn't have the gear to utilize some of these champions. Like Armans, he doesn't even bother using Armans. 305, 550 accuracy. I mean, not going to run him with stone skin. So maybe you can try Supersonic. Supersonic on Armans might make sense. He mentioned that he was running the Queen of Hearts. Queen of Hearts a lot. What's the Queen running? 238 speed with good accuracy. So it looks like he is using her to maybe just for her passive to cut in after the 10 buffs, and then coming in with the big strip, right? That kind of makes sense. I like this build. This is a very smart build, basically using her passive to get the turn so that she can come in with the strip and fear. So it's a very smart build. Yeah, I like it. Looks good. Definitely you can utilize her. Um, Odin, does he have the pinpoint? He doesn't, right? He has 3 pieces of pinpoint here. He doesn't have the full 4 piece for the intercept stack. Yeah. Yeah, he's got tons of options. Just not the best gear to go around for all of them. Obviously, his best damage gear is going to go on Siegfried. He doesn't really have significant merciless gear either. So let's have a look at his box here. He's got tons of stuff. Oh, tons of stuff. No silver though. Tons of stuff, no silver. This guy needs a silver injection, but silver comes with time, right? Otherwise, unless you're paying for it. If you're paying for it, then it's going to be super, super expensive. But yeah, he's got lots of unrolled gear. That's going to take time for him to go through and, you know, level up and all that stuff. But I'm sure he has tons of gear here that can be like instantly just, you know, sold off, right? He's actually not too much. Not too much gear. He's got some, but not too much. Not too much. He's keeping some of these pieces around. So, but yeah, you can definitely make a couple, you know, couple mil pretty easily just from cleaning out your box. All right, let's take a quick look at some of his progression areas here. So let's see. How fast is his Ice Golem? Got 2-minute Ice Golem team. I mean, you know, he's got a lot of fancy stuff here, but this can't be the fastest team on his account. I would imagine he has something that can do this a lot easier. There are teams that can maybe solo this champion, this boss with like Sulfurion or Artak. You see some options here with Man-Eater, and then you can see some options here with Marius. You need a really strong Marius to be able to plow through some of these waves pretty quickly. Like these are like 1-minute teams, so you can use Seer and then have an HP burner to finish off the fight. That's kind of how it goes for this. I would imagine you can definitely build a team with some spare parts, but this could be a gear issue as well. Spider, it looks like he's fully figured out. It's a 13-second run, so no issues there. 4 turns, you can probably get it down to 5 turns. Sorry, you can probably get it down to 4 turns to be honest. But yeah, it's about the same. Dragon's Lair, he's got 51-second team here, triple, basically quad max HP. Everybody's doing max HP stuff against the boss. 51 seconds, honestly, is not super fast against Dragon. Like, he could probably cut this time in half if he had a very, like, deliberate Dragon team. Maybe you just get rid of Gizmat and then bring in Marius, and then you just have all max HP damage dealers against the Dragon. That might maybe be faster, but I guess Gizmat is like maybe extra insurance that the run is a 100%. But yeah, I don't see too much issue here with your Dragon team. Moving on to your Fire Knight. So 4 minutes and 30 seconds here. You can definitely improve this. So what do you got here? You got the double ally attack, double newt, and then the reset. This team, I have basically the same team with Mikage, 2 newts, Podrick is my ally attacker, and then 1 reset and a Kymar. You don't need, I mean, you have Kymar here, right? You have Kymar here, so you don't need Crixia to be here. Okay, this team's not even preset to run properly. So let's see, what do you have here? I run a team similar to this, but instead of the Queen, I have Podrick. But the Queen does bring the team ally attack in as well. You want the newts at the end so that the newt A1 after the second ally attack can bring down the shields. What's your Kymar looking like? Is he being used anywhere? He's not being used. I think this is a little bit of a mistake that you can definitely fix. Kymar's still very good for PvE content. He's going to work out pretty well in this team. Unfortunately, it requires pretty high speeds. Do you have somebody like Podrick If you have somebody like Podrick, it's going to be really helpful because he brings a dungeon aura. Doesn't look like you have the champion Podrick, so you're going to need some pretty high speeds to make this type of team run. I don't think your account is capable of making this team, so that means that you're going to have to use a probably a non-reset team. But you still run the double ally attacks. And then after that, you probably just bring maybe like a slow speed champion. I'm trying to think of a team that runs with a little bit lower speeds. So basically, like lower speed teams against the Fire Knight, you can run somebody like maybe somebody like Martyr. So Martyr brings a counterattack. So you can play it as if you're getting hit first, and then you go back in with the counterattacks and then bring down the shield. So you don't need an insanely fast team with the Martyr team. But I mean, that might hurt your builds in other areas, right? So I can see here, like your Newt is 251 speed. This one is 262 speed, low accuracy. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done here. Like this Newt, you need significantly more accuracy to bring down the Fire Knight, turn meter. And you need significantly more crit damage to do anything. So this one's a little bit better in terms of overall build. Yeah, he's got proper crit damage, proper accuracy to do stuff. But if you're going to bring two Newts in here, you're going to need both of them basically set up with minimum 300 accuracy. And the Fire Knight himself is 250 speed. So depending what team you want to go, if you want to go before the Fire Knight takes a turn, your whole team needs to be above 250 speed. If you want to be a counterattack team, then you can go basically a lot slower, under 250 speed. I don't know if it's going to affect the rest of your other teams, but a team like this, double ally attack, double Newt with the Kymar, you need roughly like 360 speed on your first ally attacker. Your first ally attacker, 360 speed, 250 plus, 250 plus. This one, 250 plus. And then this one, 250 plus. As long as that happens, once the Kymar resets, your first ally attacker will go twice before the Fire Knight goes again. And then basically you can bring down the shields, and then both Newts will use the freeze and bring down the turn meter, and then it's basically home free at that point. But yeah, I don't think the gear is here yet to make a team like this. So you'll probably have to look for, basically re-gear your Newts and basically look for a team maybe with Martyr or a champion with decreased speed to help you out. Let's see what you're working here for Sand Devil. So I guess you don't have Sifi. That's why you're running this. Yep, you don't have Sifi. Did not see a Sifi. She brings sleep. Akledna brings the sleep. You got the Riho. Yeah, I mean, this works. If it's 100%, 100%, 18 seconds works pretty, that doesn't need to be messed with. Shogun's Grove, 31 seconds here. That looks good. Looks fine. Looks fine. Shogun's Grove is a lot easier than it was before, but yeah, 31 seconds looks fine. All right, let's move on to other areas of the game for Gavin here. Let's check out his tag team. Oh my God, he's in bronze 3, guys. Oh my God, look at what this guy's running. Oh my God, look at this guy's defense here. He's got 2 million player power defense, terrorizing. Bronze 3. Bronze 3, guys. Just terrorizing. Oh my lords. 2 million player power. Look at the player power on some of these guys. These poor souls just getting terrorized by Gavin. I mean, at this point in the game, you basically just click battle and then just auto, and you probably win 95% of the fights. This just takes time, right? Whether you have the time to click the battle and then just walk away, that's kind of up to you. How important is this Void Shard? How important is this Sacred Shard to you? Is it worth your time upkeeping stuff? Obviously, if you enter, gold tier, I would say as soon as you enter gold tier, you'll probably experience some issues with the gear stuff. But obviously, the champions that you have should scare away most attackers. So that's the one of the big things with tag team is that you want a very scary looking team. They don't know that your team is not geared super well, but I mean your characters are already geared well enough, and then with just the amount of mythicals that you have is probably strong enough to at least help you hold a position in gold if you so want to do that. We saw like a lot of regular arena here. He's a very, frequent arena battler, so gold 5, no issues. He is, what is he at? 200 points in seasonal play. 200 points, 64% win rate. I think I'm about similar here. I'm under 200 points. I'm under 200 points. So we're probably, like, I'm not super active. So I assume he's not super active as well. Live Arena, look at his win rate, guys. Really high win rate, but he hasn't done many battles in Live Arena as well, which means he's, probably just crushing like the lower tiers. Really high win rate here, of course. He can definitely do a lot better based on his roster. And like I said, his gearing on his champions looks solid, just needs better gear. At the end of the day, Live Arena is just going to take a lot of time. So Gavin, if you really want to focus on Live Arenas, you're just going to need to put in a lot more battles. Yeah, like this 694 battles is just not a lot, but you've only been playing the game for 6 months. So the more you play, the more experience you're going to get, the better gear you're going to get, and the better competition you're going to run into, right? So just keep doing at it, and just keep working at it. Maybe you'll find some things that you might experience that it's not that easy for someone to tell you, right? It's just things that you need to experience. But yeah, keep working on the seasonal stuff. Looking good so far. 200 points already. Take a look at let's take a look at his bosses here. So what kind of stuff is he running here? Yeah, so he's just brute forcing the demon boss. Like, that's totally fine. No problems here. He can one key with just his mythicals. Doesn't need any kind of team or anything. And then for Hydra, he's running Reset, Atheist for support, Marius, Toshiro. Is this the best support he can bring here? What's he got? He's got the cleanse, speed up, continuous healing, speed down, block buffs. Is that the best? Interestingly enough, he doesn't have that many increased speed champions that are viable here. I would say Elva is the weakest one if you want to do more damage. You have AoE decreased defense covered by Toshiro, but I don't see Weaken being covered here. So Weaken would be another way for you to do a lot more damage, I think. Hold on, where's the Weaken icon? So you got the Weaken here. I mean, who would you sub out, really? Ideally, you have somebody that brings you Weaken plus increased speed. Like, champion that comes to mind would be somebody like Eostrid. Eostrid would, cover both of those: turn meter boost, increase speed, and Weaken. But you don't have Eostrid. Maybe somebody like Lydia can come in here, bringing you increased speed, decreased defense, and the Weaken. But then you have Toshiro covering the decreased defense already, so you don't necessarily need Lydia here. Yeah, it's interesting. You got like a massive roster, but lacking in this area here a little bit. Plus speed, Weaken. That would make this team a lot stronger. Elva should probably come out. You're using Atheist, I think, for Provoke. Do you have a better Provoker, right? Or can you just use Provoke gear? Do you have enough Provoke gear to make that happen? That's the other thing too. So you might not have that, but doesn't look like your account has a lot of Provokers either. Freya is okay. She's okay Provoker, but it's a low chance of that happening. So still, even with all your champions, you're still missing some key parts to make really, really strong Hydra teams. Not saying that your teams are not strong. They should easily one key. We're just looking for more optimal teams, right? For Chimera, I mean, I don't know what you're running for Chimera in terms of damage, but this is probably not the team for it. What you want to do is basically run this champion, Senna Amberheart. You want to run this champion basically as fast as possible. Give her as much turns as possible. Relentless, as fast, relentless as you can, so she can just spam her abilities, spam her continuous heal. You can run Mikage, you can run Toshiro with Senna, and then at that point, you know, you just run two other champions, a cleanser, a reviver, probably Galathier. Galathier covers quite a bit of the trials. So you run Mikage, Galathier, Toshiro, Senna, and then your last pick could be probably somebody with decreased speed, because then you have decreased speed on your Toshiro on his secondary form. I'm not sure if people run Toshiro secondary form and then try to extend the decreased speed or what, but you can run, Galathier, Mikage, Toshiro, Senna. Galathier doesn't have decreased speed, right? Just double checking here. I don't think he does. Yeah, he does not. So you need a decreased speed. So that's going to be the last part of the puzzle here for your Chimera team. Decreased speed. I mean, that could probably come from Fighty, to be honest. Decreased speed, block, decreased speed, and block buffs, which is really good. I mean, Galathier brings block buffs too. Gizmat also brings decreased speed, right? Increased speed on all allies. Decreased places decreased speed. Okay, so Gizmat works fine. So you run so basically, run Senna in this spot and run these four champions. Should be pretty good. I mean, I don't know. I'm super jealous of this team comp. It's just insane. You should do pretty good here. I'm not sure what kind of damage you're putting out for Chimera, but looks pretty good. You had all the tools. The Chimera boss is about 300 speed, so that's kind of the threshold that you're working with in terms of gearing. And you need at least 500 accuracy to deal with the Ultra Nightmare Chimera boss. Check out the Doom Tower here. Are you progressing in Doom Tower? Make sure you do your Doom Tower stuff. I mean, you haven't, you missed 3 days already. So we just finished the Dark Fae rotation. Do you have Dark Fae stuff? Sorry, I misclicked. So you're fully capped here, so you don't want to see this. Well, I don't want to see this as a free-to-play player because you are grinding arena like crazy, generating Magi Steel, which is hard to get, but you're not using the Magi Steel to craft things, and you need to craft stuff because you're super low on silver, and you're actually super low on mats in general. But yeah, I don't know if you fully crafted out all your lethal stuff, or maybe I don't know what's going on here, but lethal is your ticket to more gear, right? So we just finished the Dark Fae rotation. I don't know if you did your crafting already with lethal gear, but it's super important. It's more important than getting dungeon teams because your best gear comes from basically free content in the game. Doom Tower, Centranos, Hydra, those are basically free areas, right, that you need to focus on. So your lethal gear, like, you just don't have much. I strongly don't feel like you farmed Dark Fae last rotation, and I think that's a mistake. So I think for you, you definitely need to focus on basically spending your time doing the appropriate areas. So right now it's going to be Doom Tower. Next part is going to be Centranos. So it does look like you've been tackling Centranos here. Many stages so far in hard? 36. 36. So if you get stuck, do you go to normal? You haven't went to normal yet. So I don't think you've been fully doing Centranos. That's the other thing here. So what are you working with here? So for example, this stage, you have a lot of usable champions to beat this stage, but you need to, progress in these areas, right? You need to get the gear. The merciless gear is very important. Now, okay, so I think for final thoughts here about this account, Gavin, you obviously have invested a ton of money into this account. You've done very well, gotten the Marius, complete the Marius missions in 150 days. That's a huge accomplishment, so congrats on that. You have some optimization stuff that you can improve on your dungeon teams, for example, specifically Fire Knight Hard 10. But at this rate, if you can't invest the gear into your PvE team, maybe just do Hard 6, Fire Knight Hard 6, grind the gear there until you can make the Hard 10 team and then go into that. Your Chimera looks fine. Like, you got the champions. You might not have the gear yet to do like insane numbers, but you're going to be one keying Chimera. Should be no problem with good amount of trials. Your Hydra team, maybe a little bit sketchy because you do lack weaken and decrease speed, but you should be able to one key Hydra without too much issues. At this point, you're basically just stacking gear, right? You're looking for protection gear, stone sing gear. You really need to focus on Dark Fae rotation for Doom Tower. You really need to focus on Centranos as far as you can go. So at this point, you know, you need, yeah, do those, get the gear. Also focus on, you know, picking up some silver wherever you can. You know, do your foraging. I don't know what you do for CVC and stuff like that, but you know, you sound super active in the game, so I want to give you some relevant pointers here where you want to devote some of your time. But yeah, you got to manage your account with some of this busy work, right? So crafting is like busy work, you know, doing Centranos, you know, to be honest, it's a little bit busy work. And this stuff's going to come with time, right? Like your roster is not fully developed. You can't make 60s without paying stupid amounts of money to make 60s right now. So this stuff's going to take time, right? But I think in a year's time, your account would be significantly built up if you just kind of follow these steps in terms of devoting your time. Yes, you want to play arena right now. Yes, you want to focus more on live arena, building up your champions to compete with other people. But, you know, if people are competing 10 steps at a time and you're competing at like 1 step at a time, you're never going to catch up to these players, right? So a lot of the thing is you need to do some of this PvE free content, which you can't really buy your way through. Yes, you can buy your way to build up champions, but you can't really buy the gear and all that. So you need to put in the time to progress in these areas. Dark Fae rotation, Centranos rotation, Hydra boss. And then just grind gear for, you know, 3, 6, 9, 12 months. And then your account will be significantly stronger. You already have the pieces, right? So anyways, guys, a little bit of a longer takeover here or review here. Thank you so much to Gavin for hopping in and, you know, working with me for the past couple months, letting me showcase his account here a little bit. Like I said, he spent about $30,000 in the game. He's 6 months into the game, gotten Marius at day 150. Again, it doesn't matter how much money he spent, but honestly, it's a really big accomplishment. You know, it just takes focus and, you know, obviously being active in the game and all that. But I like the direction his account is going. Obviously, he's really into the game and he's doing the best he can with whatever tools he has. Hopefully the tips in this gives him a little bit of an idea of where he should probably start going for his account and what he can expect to see, you know, in months ahead. So anyways, guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think. Any tips for Gavin here? Do you guys have similar accounts? Do you guys have tips for some of his champions and builds or areas where he can progress better? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate your time as always, and I'll see you guys in the next video.